So as we start the year 2025, I wanted to create a shiny living dex. For those of you that don't know, a shiny living dex is getting a shiny variant not only of the initial Pokemon, but its whole evolutionary line. As a starting point for creating a shiny living dex, I wanted to catch all of the shiny starter Pokemon from each generation. Within the Scarlet and Violet DLC, the Indigo Disc, they made it possible to catch all the starter Pokemon in the terrarium as long as you can upgrade each region with blueberry points. Luckily, I spent a lot of time trying to accumulate enough blueberry points to upgrade each biome so I can shiny hunt every starter within each generation. When I first started this challenge, I didn't have much Urban Mystica to make the level 3 sparkling sandwiches, so I did the next best thing. Another benefit to the Blueberry Academy is that they have a meal that gives you Sparkling Power level 1 from the cafeteria. These meals are fairly cheap and don't cost too many Blueberry Academy points, so you can shiny hunt without needing to get some Urban Mystica for better odds. The first hunt I went for was Rowlet, as I had an outbreak in the Savannah biome. Normally, the base odds for finding a shiny are 1 in 4096. However, using the Sparkling Power level 1 meal, plus having an outbreak, and using the shiny charm brought down my odds all the way to 1 in 683. Using these odds, I was able to find the first Rowlet within 20 minutes of getting the Academy meal. The second one followed after another 15 minutes, and then the third one took another 50 minutes, giving us a total time of an hour and about 30 minutes to finish the entire line. Now this was a great starting point, and I was certain we would be able to just use the Academy meals to hunt for all the starter Pokemon, but later on this video you'll find that I was completely wrong. After the Rowlet outbreak, I decided to reset the outbreaks and found a Piplup outbreak in the water. Water hunts were the worst kind of hunts, since there are a ton of water Pokemon that can spawn there. We spent another hour hunting for Piplup and didn't find a single one. On day 2, we reset our outbreaks and found a Popplio outbreak near the beachside. The Popplio outbreak gave us better luck as I found the first one after about an hour into hunting. The second one took another 20 minutes, and then the third one another 8 minutes after the second one, giving us roughly about the same time as the Rowlet. Next, we move on to a Scorbunny outbreak. This time, I decided to have the meal before I started to wipe out the outbreak, and I was actually able to find my first shiny while we were trying to knock out the first 60 Pokemon, giving us our fastest shiny so far with just 5 minutes in. No. Throw the ball! Yes! Oh my god! It's already a shiny! The second one took almost another hour of hunting, while the third was another 12 minutes from the second one. Day 3 started off with our redemption at Piplup. Being that the hunt wasn't in the middle of the water, Piplup still took the longest, with the first one being found after an hour and a half. The second one took another 27 minutes, but the last one came in pretty fast at about 5 minutes after the last. With Piplup done, we reset the outbreaks and we actually got a Snivy outbreak. Snivy was a bit harder to see since the shade of green is only a little bit darker than the original, and the outbreak likes to put them in the tall grass, but we found our first one within 26 minutes of our first Academy meal, but the second one took another 45 minutes. Unlike the shiny Piplup, the last one did not want to show up. We spent another hour and a half after the second shiny and wasn't able to complete the line. This we would have to finish later. Day 4, we found ourselves a Squirtle outbreak. There's something about these water starters that just don't like me. How much? Oh god, I got a minute left. There it is! Oh, we got our first shiny! Yes! Finally! We got our first one! Oh, beautiful! Witness the shiny Squirtle! Now I just need 2 more. The first shiny Squirtle showed up after 2 hours since the first Academy meal. During this time, we were able to find 2 shiny Geodudes before we found our first Squirtle. Luckily, the second shiny was found 15 minutes later, but the third was found another hour and 16 minutes from the second shiny. During that time, we were able to finish the shiny Geodude line, and we sniped a shiny Deerling as well. Day 5, we get a Tepig outbreak in a kind of awkward spot at the border of the savanna and the canyon biome. Being that the spawn was relatively close to the wall, you could see spawns on either side, so it was possible that there was a chance to miss a shiny, whether it be in the savanna biome or finding a shiny Tepig in the canyon biome. Oftentimes, I would check over the wall to see if there were any other shinies, and we did manage to find a rogue shiny Trapinch in the savanna biome. With that, the first Tepig was almost an hour into the hunt. The second one took another hour and a half, and the third was only 15 minutes after the second one. At this point, I was debating if I should be getting more Herba Mystica so that I can use sparkling level 3 sandwiches to try and get faster hunts. But I still wanted to try and see if I can use the Academy meals to get as many of the shiny starters as I could. Day 6, we have a Bulbasaur outbreak. We use the Academy meal to find our first shiny 20 minutes into the meal, and after finding a shiny quickly on the first meal, I wanted to test to see how effective a sparkling level 3 sandwich is. Using a sparkling level 3 sandwich brings the odds from 1 in 683 to 1 in 512. After using the sandwich, we had no luck. But during the second sandwich, we found our second Bulbasaur in just 5 minutes, and the third shiny at the very end of that sandwich. Day 7, I wasn't planning on streaming that day. However, we found a rare outbreak of Totodile in the savanna biome, and I didn't want to waste the opportunity to get Totodile. Lots of people have often had to reset many times to get a Totodile outbreak, so I was very fortunate to actually get one on this day. Now, since I wanted to catch them as soon as possible, I opted to use the sparkling level 3 sandwich, and after 20 minutes we found our first shiny Totodile. From our second sandwich, we found one in 15 minutes, and the last one another 45 minutes later. Day 8, we found a Froakie outbreak. Using the sandwich, we had a lot of other water Pokemon spawning in the area, and I was worried we would find more Popplios even after we finished the line. And after 30 minutes, the very first shiny water Pokemon we find is a shiny Popplio. At this point, I had been gathering up the extra shinies and putting them in a box where one day we will be doing some sort of giveaway where I can hand all these out to you guys. So if you do enjoy these videos, please like and subscribe to the channel, and if you want to see these live, I often shiny hunt on both my Twitch and my YouTube channel. Now, with that out of the way, we spent another hour after finding the shiny Popplio to find our first shiny Froakie. The second one was another 40 minutes after the first, and the final one showed up after another hour. This line took over 3 hours to complete, making it the longest hunt so far, overtaking Piplup. Day 9, we find ourselves a Charmander outbreak. The first Charmander took 41 minutes after the first sandwich. So you see how in this group there's like one that's like most obviously not orange? Wow, good reset. The second one came shortly after, being found within the same sandwich as the first, and the last one took another 35 minutes. With some time left in the sandwich, I wanted to see if I can do some isolated encounters. So, using the rest of the fire sandwich, I actually went to go to an isolated encounter spot to find a shiny Litten. There's a small spot in the canyon biome where we can use this sandwich to only spawn Litten in the area. After not finding any within the remainder of the sandwich, we went ahead and made a new sandwich just so that we can go ahead and isolate hunt for it, and we found our first one a minute later. The second one took us another 25 minutes after the first, and the third only another 12 minutes later. This was by far the fastest completed line without even having an outbreak. Day 10, we had a Chimchar outbreak within the polar biome. This was a little bit of a worry area since we were on the side of the mountain, but with shiny Chimchar being relatively easy to spot, it wasn't too hard of a hunt. We managed to find one within our first 2 minutes of the sandwich, and then a second one after another 2 minutes, roughly within the same wave of Pokemon that were spawning. This was looking to be the fastest shiny line to be completed, however, it took almost about another hour till we found the last one. This did end up being the fastest line of starters we had, barely beating out Litten. With Chimchar being a fast hunt, we decided to go for another isolated hunt for shiny Chespin. This one was one of the longer hunts, with the first shiny showing up almost after an hour, the second one taking another 50 minutes, and the third took another 25 minutes from the second. Day 11, we found a Grookey outbreak on the beach. and this would be my fastest shiny line hunted. We found the first shiny 5 minutes into the first sandwich. The second one took another 15 minutes. Awesome! 2 Grookies, 1 sandwich. Now all we need is 1 more, and then, okay. And then the last one took another 15 minutes, making this about a 40-minute hunt to get the entire line. After Grookey, we resetted and got an Oshawott outbreak. Another one in the water. However, this time, it wouldn't take long to find our first one. We managed to find our first shiny Oshawott within 10 minutes of the first sandwich. Another 22 minutes go by and we get our second one. But the last one, I didn't want to waste some Herba Mystica just because we're finding only one more shiny. So I decided to use an Academy meal, and we managed to find one after another 5 minutes. Day 12, we finally get another Snivy outbreak. After a long while of not fulfilling the Snivy line, we finally had a chance to complete the line and find our last Snivy. However, I didn't imagine it would take such a long time that we finally found one within 52 minutes of hunting for it.
At first I didn't notice because I thought it was just because it's nighttime. There we go. Our one shiny Snivy.
This gave us enough time to use the rest of the sandwich to isolate hunt for shiny Trico. Trico has an isolated encounter spot in the canyon biome, and after 5 minutes of being in that isolated encounter area, we found our first Trico. After finding our first one so fast, it took us another hour and a half to get our second Trico, but the final one came in at around 15 minutes later. Day 13 was a short day as I was sick during that time, but I found a shiny Chikorita outbreak. Since I didn't have much Herba Mystica left, I went ahead and used the Academy meals to try and finish this line, and it didn't take me very long to complete this. After 7 minutes, we found our very first shiny Chikorita. The second one took another 29 minutes, and the final one was caught after 55 minutes. With some time left over in the sandwich, I wanted to see if we could start getting the Turtwig line, and within 10 minutes of arriving in the isolated encounter area, we did find our first shiny Turtwig. This was all that I could find in the shiny encounter area, but we will come back to this line. Day 14, I wanted to finish off the Turtwig line since we didn't have any impactful outbreaks in the area, so I went ahead and just did an isolated encounter hunt for the last 2 shinies that I needed. And within 8 seconds of making the sandwich, we found our second shiny Turtwig.
Alright, so we instantly found a shiny Turtwig. Literally not even 20 seconds in.
This was the fastest shiny I had ever found with using a sandwich. The final one took another 24 minutes later, bringing our total completed lines to 19 out of 27 starters. This started to bring us closer to the harder hunts or the more rare outbreak encounters, so I wasn't really looking for the days ahead. Day 15, we managed to get a Sobble outbreak in the Savannah biome. This hunt took a long while, with our first one showing up within 45 minutes, the second one showing up after another 30 minutes, and the final Sobble showing up after 25 minutes from the second one. With some time left in the sandwich, I figured we should try and start on Mudkip since it was an isolated encounter hunt in the coastal biome. With arriving in the area, we managed to find our first one within 15 minutes of arriving, but no more showed up after that. Day 16 was the day we were going to do our first AFK Torchic hunt. Since I didn't want the stream to be too boring and only sitting there hunting Torchic, I also decided to play the Pokemon TCG while we were AFK hunting. It was a bit hard to split my focus between both the games, but the new set Surging Sparks finally arrived on TCG Live and I was excited to play it. After much testing on TCG Live, I was having some issues trying to figure out the new decks, but we did manage to find our first shiny after 45 minutes of hunting. The second one spawned after another 15 minutes, and the final one spawned after another 45. Since we had some time left in the sandwich, I wanted to test out how difficult the Cyndaquil hunt was going to be. We weren't able to find any Cyndaquil though, and I will explain why it is such a difficult hunt for a later time. Day 17, we finally got a Fennekin outbreak. This was one of the starters we desperately needed an outbreak for, since there wasn't really an isolated area to hunt for Fennekin, because the area that it's in, there's a bunch of Magbies, Magmars, and Pyroars. So trying to isolate the hunt with the Fire Sandwich was going to be very difficult. I tried using the Academy Meal in order to save my Herba Mystica, but none of them were shining. After about an hour of using the Academy Meal, I needed something a bit stronger, so I decided to use my Herba Mystica to make a sparkling level 3 sandwich, and the first shiny Fennekin finally showed up after 15 minutes of using the sandwich. Since I only needed 2 more, I figured I could go back and use an Academy Meal to find the final 2, and we finally find our second shiny after 45 minutes. The final one took a bit longer, but we did manage to complete the line within about 3 hours. The final 2 Pokemon we needed to hunt before we can start using egg hunts is Cyndaquil and Mudkip. I really wanted to practice more on how to get Cyndaquil, so I spent day 18 working on this hunt. There's one cave in the polar biome where Cyndaquil spawns, and we had to use this trick to get to the back of the wall in order to get them to spawn in the room. If there weren't many spawning, that means there was typically one Cyndaquil sitting on the spawn point, and you had to go over and move them. The first one we found after only an hour of resetting the area, and the second one took another hour and a half from the first. However, the last one was not even close to being found during this day. On day 19, I was determined to finish hunting for both Cyndaquil and Mudkip. So on this day, I buckled down to start with getting the final Cyndaquil we needed, and then this happened. Yeah, I really... Oh, there's 2! Huh? Oh gosh, okay, shoot. Shoot. Second one, don't run away. Second one, don't run away. Second one, don't run away, just sit there. Just sit there, be cool. Be cool. Quickly, no, don't run away! Don't run out! Don't run away! Oh, this didn't okay. The second one's probably gone. Oh, it's just sitting there, Get in the ball! If it doesn't get in the ball, I'm just gonna use a Master Ball and say F it. I'm just gonna use a Master Ball. If it doesn't get in, I'm just gonna use... Okay, I'm just gonna use a Master Ball. I don't care. I'm just gonna use a Master Ball. We're gonna use a Master Ball so that we can get the other shiny. Is it still there? Oh, it's still there. Okay. I'm just gonna use Master Ball. I don't care. We're using the Master Ball and getting double shinies. Okay, yes. I don't want this to be the first shiny I fail. Come on. Yes, I get it. Yes. Get him in the box. No! I see it. Please don't. Please. Cyndaquil, please. Cyndaquil! Yes! Oh my god. Oh. Well, I'm out of Master Balls. But I'd say that's worth it. Yes, we managed to get 2 shiny Cyndaquils spawning at the same time during the same wave of spawns. Now, with shiny Cyndaquil more than done, all that was left for catching was to get 2 more Mudkips. We've been in and out of this cave, and I don't know the best way to hunt for shiny Mudkip. However, we found our second one after another 55 minutes, and the final one came about almost an hour after the last one. With the catching portion of this Pokemon journey done, all that was left for the egg hunts. For the final 3 starters, we needed to do egg hunts, specifically using the Masuda method. The Masuda method is if you use a Ditto that is from a different region to breed with your starter Pokemon, you will have a 1 in 512 chance of hatching a shiny. These shiny hunts took forever. Being that Fuecoco was my first starter in the game, I wanted to start and try egg hunting with that. I spent countless days over and over trying to hatch for my first shiny Fuecoco. At a certain point, I was sort of questioning, was I doing something wrong? Did I not have the correct foreign Ditto? We were so far over odds, and I just kept questioning what was taking this so long to shiny hunt. Until we finally hatched our first shiny Fuecoco. Oh, get one shotted. Finally! Oh, we finally got one! The 196. We hatched 196 eggs today to get our first shiny Fuecoco. That's, I guess, has got pretty good stats. On 1,516, we got our first shiny. Let's give him a nickname. After 1,516 eggs, we had finally hatched our first Fuecoco. Completing the rest of the line was also a bit rough. The second Fuecoco hatched at 1,709 eggs, and the final Fuecoco finally hatched at 3,141 eggs. Definitely way over odds for trying to get this line. Finally, after hatching our last Fuecoco, it was time to move on to Sprigatito. Now, after going through the Fuecoco hunts, I was very worried that these egg hunts were going to take drastically long and be very over odds. However, there was some saving grace with our shiny Sprigatito.
Kilometers. Oh! What?
We managed to find our first Sprigatito in just 16 eggs. A very big difference between the Fuecoco line not even breaking into the triple digits. I had some errands that I had to run, so I ended the stream a bit earlier. But when I came back, another shiny Sprigatito hatched that same day, being on egg number 125. I couldn't believe my luck with Sprigatito. Fuecoco took me forever to hatch just one, and Sprigatito, we already got two almost instantly. I felt that I was able to finish these starters before the new year came around, and I was determined to try and finish these lines out. After the second Sprigatito finally hatched, I decided to start hunting for Quaxly on stream and immediately started to hatch eggs. I also decided to start doing some offline egg hatching so that I can try and get the line as fast as I possibly can to finish out the year. After offline hunting for the final Sprigatito, we managed to hatch two within 2 eggs of each other, one being at 598 and the last one hatching at 600, giving us 4 Sprigatitos in total. All that was left was the Quaxly line. After a couple days of hatching for Quaxly, it almost seemed like it was going to be another Fuecoco incident. We finally hatched our first one just below 1,000 eggs at around 873. The final 2 shiny Quaxlys came in relatively close to each other, being at 1,221 and the final one at 1,348 eggs. Finally, after 3 months of hunting for the shiny starters, it was finally time to evolve them all. Now, this has been my biggest project so far. I'm fairly new to trying to shiny catch anything. I've never really shiny hunted previously before. Scarlet and Violet is the first game where I actually dedicated my time to shiny hunt for these Pokemon. So, ending the year 2024, all the shiny starters finishing being hatched, it's time to move into 2025 and hope we can ride on the journey of getting more shinies together. So I hope you guys enjoyed a good 2024, and I look forward to a more positive 2025. Thanks for watching.